I don't have Legos today. I was going to get Legos. I have these. These are in my office. Okay. Okay, this is actually one of the most uncomfortable and confusing things a dad has to do, and it is this. How do you say no to your kid and not totally crush their soul? Hey guys, welcome back to the Dad Formula. I'm Tommy Latham, dad of 10, grandpa, uncle about 60-something times over, and yeah, occasional Lego hostage. I was going to bring in some Legos and just play with it while I do this, but I only had these little things here in the office in my studio, so I'm going to do this as we talk. All right, I have taught time management to high-level professionals, CEOs, entrepreneurs, church leaders, and guys with packed calendars and responsibilities and cars I wish I had. And I teach them how to stop saying, I don't have time, and instead start saying, it's not a priority right now. Because that's the truth. You either bring the receipts, in other words, your schedule, or you own the fact that you're not prioritizing. It's simple. And it gets way harder than that, though, when that something is your kid. Okay, let's be real. This whole thing usually comes up right in the middle of a Zoom meeting. You're muted, you're on camera, camera's off, and maybe with one earbud in, and suddenly a little face pops up beside you and we're like, hey, Dad, you want to play with Legos? Or those little stone things that you have? And your brain short circuits, right? Because yeah, it's adorable, but oh my gosh, I literally just cannot play with Legos right now while I'm on the Zoom call. I can't, objectively, I have a deadline. I'm in a meeting. I'm holding back a full-on mutiny from the marketing department. It's not happening, guys, right? And objectively that the Legos are not important. And and I know, and everyone but the kid knows that this is a hard no, right? But you also know you can't say it like you would to a coworker where you would just be like, nope, sorry, I got bigger things going on. No offense, but I have to get this done. My thing is literally more important than yours. You just can't, you can't say that to a kid, or you can. I have. I've made this mistake more than once, when I'm really frustrated and, not worded exactly like that, but it would be it'd be something like, hey, sorry kid, I love you, but, I just don't have time right now. I can't do that. Okay, so that's a C-, or even worse, a narcissistic dad would be like, hey, you know what? That's not important, kid. It's a small problem. You have no idea of the big stuff I'm doing. Okay, F. That's an F. You just failed right there. And, I've been guilty of, I'm not even stacking these. Anyway, but yeah, I've been guilty of that. Where I'm thinking it, and I may even subtly say something like that. And that's just so bad and so toxic because it sounds way worse to them than it does to us, to my brain, it sounds logical. But to their little heart, it sounds like, hey, little kid, dude, your thing just isn't important. Like a car or something. And, you say that and boom, the damage is done. Okay, so here's the pushback from some of you listening, which might be like, hey, Tommy, you jerk. It's really important to play Legos or rock things with your kid. You can stop for literally 10 minutes and do that. Well, yeah, it is important in general terms. It is generally speaking. But okay, so I'll pose this argument to you. It's their bedtime. It's 8 p.m. and they're still up and they have to get up early because they have a big test or whatever tomorrow. So they argue. They want to play with Legos or rock things. And you're like, nope, objectively, that is not a good idea. Playing with Legos right now is not the best thing for them, right? Going to bed and getting some sleep so that they can do better tomorrow is absolutely the best thing for them. That's objective. That's not subjective or emotional. So in that same way, if you have something that is really, truly critical, absolutely important, say you're a work from home dad and you just went into a Zoom meeting or something and your kids are like, hey, can you play Legos with me right now? I think we established that, there is objectively a time when you can do that. Okay, so here's the secret formula. So here's what I've learned, and it's worked wonders in my home. And it is this. You say yes in general terms, and you say no in specific terms. Let me say that again. So you say yes in general terms, as in, yes, I want to be with you, but make your no about the specific moment, like this. Yeah, I'd love to play Legos with you, just for not right now. I've got a meeting, but after dinner, let's build a mid-century modern bungalow using stone pieces. Or I love that you want to play. Can we do that tomorrow morning? It's Saturday morning tomorrow. I'll make pancakes and we'll play right after. Or even, hey, buddy, I promised someone I'd be somewhere right now, and keeping promises is important, right? So I'm going to do that, and then after that, I'm all yours. And that last one is freaking magic, because kids might not understand why your meeting matters, but they get promises, they get relationships, because that's what they do with their friends. And if you frame your time boundaries in terms of commitments, not hierarchies of importance, it just clicks. I'll say that again. Frame your time boundaries in terms of commitments, not hierarchies of importance. Oh, and this works on adults too, by the way. So try this with your buddy who calls you during work hours, and just be like, hey, I can't talk right now. I'll call you back at lunch. Boom, no drama, no guilt, just clarity. Same with your spouse even. Instead of, yeah, I don't have time to talk to you right now. Bad, failing. Try, oh, yeah, I want to talk about that. Can we do it after the kids are in bed? That sounded weird. Anyway. So what you're doing there is you're affirming the person when you're doing that, even if you can't give them what they want in the moment. Does that make sense? Okay, again, you're framing your time boundaries in terms of commitments. So like, could we do it after the kids are in bed? Not hierarchies of importance, which would mean putting someone or something in front of your spouse. It's just based on time and not based on a lack of desire. Okay, got it? Okay, here's a bonus dad move. Scheduling the yes. Now, sometimes I'll straight up schedule it with my kids, like Wednesday evening, let's go. We'll build something wild. And it's so funny when I do that, because like my teens or my 20-year-olds, I'll use this scheduling trick a little like manipulatively. Is that a word? I don't know. But like, I'll manipulate it by scheduling, because I know they don't like to schedule anything and get locked in. So my son will want help with the brake pads of his car or something, and want to do it in my shop and get some help from me. So I can really like assess the importance of the situation by scheduling it with them. First of all, it buys me a couple days, which is cool. Second of all, they'll flake. So I'll throw out a time and just watch them say no half the time, because they're like, oh, wait, I'm hanging out with friends, which is hilarious, but it shows them that I wanted to make space for them. Again, I'm saying, I really want to help you, I just can't until whatever time. And that's the real win, because in the long run, kids don't need unlimited yes. They just need to know that they matter, and that you want to say yes, and that you will help them, but only when it's wise and good for both of you. All right? So that's the move, dads. Saying no doesn't have to feel mean. And saying yes doesn't have to mean right now, hey, I didn't mean to say mean that many times. Weird, but cool. So practice this today. 2 things. Yes in general, no in specific, and love in your tone, clarity in your words. All right, I'm off to a Zoom call right now, and then maybe, just maybe, some little more of these rock things or Legos, All right. Love hard, lead well, trust God. Till next time. Peace.